Hello everyone, welcome to today's edition of said podcast. And today we'll be discussing on why do partners or couples name their children instead of their partner when getting an investment plan. And on today's edition, we have a wonderful guest on our midst today.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me on the show today. Uh, my name is Oluwasegun, the head of operations, Said Properties Limited. It's going to be an exciting moment on the show today. I'm looking forward to the experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome. So, we've heard a couple of times when you hear couples will say, my child, my daughter, my son is the nest of kings when it comes to their properties. So, I would like to know your take on that. What's your take on that, sir?
And it's quite a controversial topic. And what I mean by that is there are a couple of reasons why a couple would decide to name their child, or their children, any of the children, as their nest of kin in, in their investment decision.
Yeah.
It could be from a place of trust. It could also be from a place of generational legacy. It could also be from a place of uncertainty in their relationship. So when I say trust issue, some partners believe that, okay, for instance, if the husband, or let me use the woman, the wife, if the wife is actually, planning to buy a property, the woman believes that if she puts her husband's name as a next of kin, there's a possibility that the husband might abuse that privilege. Maybe something happens, he can just go and collect a loan, tomorrow, without the consent or without the wife knowing, and would use that property, as a collateral without informing, without informing her. And eventually, if something happens based on that loan agreement, because he has been used as a nest of kin, he has a legal right to that property. You understand? So because of that, when the partner is not very sure of the aspect where the husband is very disciplined, is very decent enough, you understand, won't take actions that she has not consented to, you understand. So because of that, she might be very skeptical in using the husband as a nest of kin. So that way she would prefer to use a child, either a son or a daughter, as the nest of kin. Then when I say from the aspect of generational legacy, every parent, you agree with me that every parent wants the best for their child. You understand? Every parent wants the best for their child. They want to make a deliberate effort that the future of their child is secured. You understand? So even if they are gone, or if anything happens, you understand, tomorrow, there are certain that their child's future is secure. Like, look at what happened, some time ago. I don't want to mention his name, but a very prominent individual in Nigeria who owns a bank. Something happened quite unfortunate. May his soul and every other person involved, may their soul rest in perfect peace. The husband died, the wife also died, and I think one of the first son also died. You understand? And a lot of people were asking, so what's going to happen to the investment? And this man is a billionaire. This is somebody that worth billions of naira, and probably maybe even in dollar currency. You understand? And people were asking, so what's going to happen, and all that, what's going to happen to the children, and what to be. And recently, I saw on the news that the daughter was actually giving a presentation on a convocational ceremony of one of the investments, the university precisely, one of the investment that man had. So for that lady, who's the daughter, one of the surviving daughters of this couple that died, for her to actually give a speech, a presentation in a convocation ceremony of the university, which is one of the properties, one of the investment that they had before they died. It means that she must have a very important role to play. You understand? She obviously is has been named as one of the directors, maybe one of the trustees, or a very visible nest of kin for that investment. So I can assure you that even for the next, as long as that investment remains, she and the surviving siblings would never have any problem.
Okay, sorry to cut you, sir.
Yeah.
So let me take it back to something you said. You made mention of trust. So in a situation or in a case whereby the man or the lady feels she can't trust her partner, so what happens when you entrust your children with the being the next of king of those properties, and then at the end of the day, they disappoint you also?
No. It's the chances of the children disappointing is very slim.
Right.
No, it's very slim. It's very slim. The reason why some couples, I used the woman as an example, why she would rather use her child, as the nest of kin is because she believes that anything can happen tomorrow. The husband can leave her. You understand? The husband can leave her. There could be a dispute in the relationship, and the husband decides to leave her. And if that dispute is very, big, it is something that they cannot reconcile on, and each party wants to do everything humanly possible to ensure that the other person is hurt. You understand? Then there will definitely be issues. So in that situation, the woman has already envisioned that something might happen. So even if nothing will happen, let me just be certain that my future is secured and the future of my children is secured. In the knowledge of this, it's going to be very almost impossible for the child to actually disappoint the mother or the father who has named him or her as a next of kin. You understand?
It's safe to say that children being the next of kings of their parents is proper.
Yeah, it's proper. It's actually not not a bad idea. It's acceptable in this part of the country. Is even acceptable anywhere in the world. You understand? Because if you put your child as a next of kin, number one, you are proving to the child that you care for them and that you want to ensure that their generation and even generations to come do not suffer. You understand? But you also want to look at it from this angle. Should you continue to use your child as a nest of kin for every investment decision that you take or that you embark on? If you continue to do that, then it means that there is no trust between you and your husband. So there should be a balance. In some investment decisions, you can decide to use your husband as a nest of kin. Your husband also can decide to use the wife as a nest of kin. You understand? And in some other cases, it will also suffice that either of them use their children as a nest of kin. So my point is there should be a balance. There should be a balance.
So, sorry to say, in a case whereby the man wants to be used as a nest of kin for all his property, when regarding his wife, when the wife gets property, what now happens? And the wife doesn't want the husband to be the nest of kings. Issues like that brings up marital issues.
Yeah. So I even in marriage, it is one critical ingredient that is very important is communication.
Yeah.
You understand? Communication is very key. The absence of effective communication will actually lead to disputes, will lead to issues, will lead to misunderstanding. You can name it. You understand? So in that aspect, it's very important that both partners sit down and discuss. The husband shares his perspective about the whole thing. In this investment decision that you want to take, I support you. I encourage you to actually make a decision. I care for you, and I think it's the right decision that you are taking to want to invest. You understand? But I do feel that if you do not put my name as a nest of kin, I feel that you do not trust me. And the wife, also explains that I do trust you. but I want, I want us to secure the future of our children. That is why I feel that we should put, our son as the next of kin. So, when there's this clarity in the discussion, you understand? So eventually, if the child is used as the next of kin, it will be from a place of, positivity. There's not going to come from a place of negativity. The husband is not going to be having issues with that decision. You understand? And if it's on the other side, the wife will obviously not have any decision, any issue with that decision being made by your husband. So I believe communication is very important.
Communication is very important.
Yeah.
That's okay. So from all you've said, I've been actually thinking, in a case where a child is made a nest of kings, and there are some couples that have just about a child, let's say a child, for instance, and then after making the child a nest of kings, at the end of the day, nest of king. At the end of the day, it doesn't just go the way they want it to. In that situation, what do you expect the parents to do?
When you say it doesn't go the way they want it to, I will look at it from this angle of, okay, probably maybe the child dies, maybe the child dies, or probably the child goes, berserk, goes wayward, and all that. Then that is when you have to now start looking at the legal implication. You understand? So, God forbid the child dies, and that's the reality of things at that time. If the child dies, and that child has been used as a next of kin, then they have to now, bring in all the necessary legal apparatus to ensure that, there is a reversal. You understand? Because, if the child is dead, then and they just have only one child, so who's going to inherit that thing? So definitely the next person, by legal standard, would be the closest to that investor, who is, if it's the woman who is investing and is using the child as a next of kin, the child is dead, and the next person in the order would be the husband. You understand? So now in that case, there now has to be a legal readjustment and all that. So there are definitely ways that that can be sorted out without any continuous dispute or without any issue.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I heard from you. It's safe to say when choosing your list of kings, communication is key.
Yeah, communication is very key.
It's,
You don't just take that decision, you have to communicate. I mean, I have made some decisions in the past, likewise my wife also, and we have discussed it. As a matter of fact, we even discuss it jokingly. Okay, I'm going to use so person as the next of kin, and I was like seriously. And when she noticed that I probably object to it, or I say one or two things, and she explains, yeah, okay, there's no problem. Same thing also, I've also done same thing that I've used. As a matter of fact, we have an understanding that we can actually use anyone in the family as a next of kin. So I can readily, even without immediately telling her that I'm doing this thing, and I use so person, I use probably my daughter or my son as the next of kin, you understand, for that investment decision. And later on, when she gets to know about it, she's not angry about it, because she knows that it's an understanding that we have, and we're also trying to secure the future of our children. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So I've heard that when choosing a next of kings, you need to communicate with your partner, because trust comes to play into, right?
Very important.
Like you said, trust plays, and then there are so many things to put into consideration when choosing the list of kings, if you have to make a list of kings. Okay, so it's been an insightful discussion, but before we call it a wrap, let's hear from your side. What's your advice to our audience on this conversation?
Yeah, so my advice is very simple. In as much as we encourage couples to actually make investment decision, speaking from an expert point of view, it is very important that couples make investment decisions and that they carry each other along. And while you are making such investment decisions, if you can actually use your children, any of your children, you can use your child as a next of kin, but everybody, the husband and the wife, must be in the know of this. They must agree to this. You understand? If the wife, if you're having an issue, if you feel that your husband is going to abuse that privilege, if you as an husband you feel your wife is going to abuse that privilege, it makes more sense when both of you discuss it and those concerns are being sorted. Those concerns are being looked into, you understand? And even if eventually you still need to go ahead and use your child as a next of kin, ensure that there is a balance, you understand? There should be some investment plans and decisions that you would take, that you would use your husband and or your wife, and in other cases you can also use your child or any of your children as a next of kin. My point is there should be balance, and effective communication is very key.
Thank you for watching this wonderful edition of Said Podcast. See you next time. And don't forget to like, share, and comment. Bye.